Crime is surging in big cities across America, and in California, the problem has been especially bad in Los Angeles and San Francisco. Fox Digital asked people in both of those cities which political party can better handle public safety. And as it turns out, residents say both Democrats and Republicans have fallen short.
I think both of them are inadequate at this point because they're using old solutions that never worked in the first place.
I lean more Democrat, but I don't know. You know, it's like sometimes it's like you wonder if any of them can do the job. The party I've chosen included.
Republicans do a much better job. I mean, unfortunately, our president can't even function right now.
Within every party, you've got middle, left, and right. So it's really more about which group is in office at that time, be it Republican or Democrat, right? I mean, because I feel like there's Democrats and Republicans I don't agree with.
Probably neither. Doesn't seem like either one is helping, because it doesn't seem like people actually want. I don't think either party would really want that to stop, because they can use it to help them get elected.
Whoever's a business owner, that's who should be lined up for that. I think that probably be a Republican.
We're dealing with systemic issues which have very little to do with politics, have way more to do with the economy. And the economy is not solved by politicians. It's solved by business leaders, because we live in a capitalist system and they're the ones who decide what they're doing with their money. I mean, we have a lot of work to do, but I think that right now, any of the politicians that have put themselves forward don't have the solutions. And they're not even talking about solutions. They're talking about culture wars and stuff that has nothing to do with actual people dying on the street in San Francisco.
Well, speaking of public money, many California cities that supported the defund the police movement, well, now they've changed their minds, investing more money in their police departments, and they're actually using COVID relief funds to do that. A report from the newspaper The Guardian shows cities across the Golden State have used tens of millions of dollars in pandemic relief funds to build up their police forces. There are some of the figures there. Lots of money. Richie Greenberg joins us, San Francisco community activist, former candidate for mayor there. I mean, Richie, are they supposed to do that? Are the cities supposed to use stimulus money and this sort of thing, you know, to beef up the police? And why do they do that? Were they caught short?
Well, thank you, Eric. Thank you for having me this morning. You know, here in San Francisco, there's a constant dance back and forth of what to do with money, how to obtain money, how to spend money, where to spend it. You know, we have a problem here where a very large percentage of those activists that are in office, the elected office, our city council, they are really anti-police, anti-cop. So they are doing whatever they can for years to not support the police. So, you know, whatever funding that we can get to support the police, whether it is obvious or if it's some circumvent that we see here now, without the funding, the police department would most likely collapse entirely.
What would that mean? I mean, you know what that would mean to the city of San Francisco. Man, I mean, you see what's happening on the streets, go around Union Square and this sort of thing. What is the result of those policies that you just cited on public safety in your city?
Right. We are facing a public safety emergency here, and many that are in City Hall simply do not want to face the facts. Whatever it is, whatever we see with the open drug market, with drug dealers that are being basically doing whatever they want with impunity, the district attorney who's facing a recall in less than 60 days now, who is pro-crime, apparently he's pro-criminal, this would just spiral further down. We have businesses leaving, we have businesses failing because tourists are not coming here. It is a worst-case scenario that is continuing to spiral downward.
Do you think Chesa Boudin will be recalled? As you say, there is that recall on him. We're looking at video, by the way, next to you, Hillsborough, California. Very wealthy, ritzy suburb just south of where you are now. And they're apparently targeting all those multimillionaires' mansions, breaking into those because they moved on from the tourists.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Chesa Boudin, he is fighting back, and his supporters are fighting back. with a vengeance, trying to do everything that they can to make anyone that is pro-law and order look like a Republican, which is kind of weird. I don't think that wanting to have safe streets, clean streets, no drug dealers on the streets is something that should ever be looked at as any Republican or conservative leaning. That's just what every person here that lives in the city wants. You know, Mr. Bodine, he's just fighting for his political life at this point.
Can they turn it around? Can you get San Francisco back to the beautiful city by the bay that it once was?
So here's the problem. You know, San Francisco hasn't had a conservative or Republican mayor since the early 1960s. After that, we've had you know, the summer of love and the liberal movements here, and Democrats who have been turning further and further left. But another key is that here in San Francisco specifically, and we're seeing this around the country as well, is the influence from the socialists, the DSA, the Democrat Socialist of America Party. They are infiltrating election by election to try and put their radical socialist left-wing extremists. This is a problem as well, and they exist here in San Francisco. Several of the city council our board of supervisors are card-carrying socialists, and they are the biggest problem here. It's not Republicans. We have virtually no Republican leadership here at all.
All right, they would, of course, disagree with you. They believe in their policies, but we're seeing the results of some of them, obviously, on the streets in San Francisco and elsewhere in the country. Richie Greenberg in San Francisco. Richie, thank you for joining us. And we'll have more news when we come back in just a moment.